Hey everyone, and welcome to the Servicing with Attune and Help Center Request Forms webinar. We'll get started in just a few moments here while we wait for everyone to join. So feel free to grab a snack, grab some water, run to the bathroom. We do have like about 3 minutes, so you could quote something with Attune while you have some time here. And yeah, so anything last minute, go for it. We'll get started in a few minutes. Hey everyone, welcome to the Attune Servicing webinar. We will get started in just a few minutes here. We're going to give folks a little extra time to hop into this webinar. So feel free to grab a snack, grab some water, run to the bathroom. We'll get started in a few minutes. Thanks for joining. Hey, Rebecca. Thank you everyone for joining. Again, if you are just joining, we will be starting in a few minutes. We're just going to make sure that we let folks kind of trickle in here. So feel free to grab a snack, grab a drink of water, some coffee or whatever you need to do. We'll get started in a couple more minutes. Hey, Claire.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Good. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. I'm just glad it's not Monday anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Morgan, what is your icebreaker question today?
Yes, so glad you asked, Claire. That's perfect segue. So I like to start off these webinars with a little icebreaker with one of my favorite games, Would You Rather? If you have or have not played, it's just like a poll and you have to click one option. So this is a very life or death scenario. You have to pick one. So the poll for today is, would you rather be forced to speak in a completely new language every 5 years or be forced to live in a completely new town every 5 years? So asking the hard-hitting questions here at the Attune webinars. So you got to decide new language or new town. So if you're learning a new language, you're still in the same town. Hey, Allison.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're playing a little icebreaker game of Would You Rather. Would you rather be forced to speak in a completely new language every 5 years or be forced to live in a completely new town every 5 years?
I can't vote. Should I just say?
You can just say, yeah.
I would definitely vote for being forced to speak in a completely new language every 5 years. I love learning new languages.
Me too. That's what I would choose as well.
I would choose new town. I think I'm I'm on the same side as the majority. I'm not good at languages. I'm not at all. I took French for 7 years. Don't remember a lot.
All right, so it looks like our attendance has basically leveled off. So again, I'm going to give y'all 10 more seconds to vote in this would you rather poll. You have 10 seconds. It's a very important question. All right, last vote's in. And we're ending it. Okay, so majority of people said they wanted to live in a completely new town every 5 years. Interesting. Well, thank you all for playing this game with me. I hope that you enjoyed. And now that we have done that, we will begin. So before we get started, just a few kind of housekeeping rules. If you couldn't tell already or you're not familiar, this is a webinar setup, so we won't be able to see you or hear you. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat like you all have already been typing in, or you can put them in the Q&A, and we'll do our best to get to all of them. And this will be recorded, and I will be emailing it out to everyone who registered, so people who are here today, but also people who registered either by the end of the day today or early tomorrow morning. You'll be getting the recording, the slides, and if anything comes up in the webinar that people want resource-wise, I'm happy to include that as well. So with that being said, let's do some introductions. I'm Morgan. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the marketing associate at Attune. And we've got Claire and Allison here to lead us through this webinar. So over to y'all.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Claire. I am the operations program manager here at Attune. I'm very excited to walk you all through how we do some servicing, and in particular, our help center request forms, which we are just constantly improving and want you all to be as excited about as we are.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison. I work as a product manager on our engineering team, and my team helps to build out new features and internal tools that help us service all of your policies that you found more seamlessly.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, everyone. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. So we just have a little bit of an agenda here. We are going to go over how exactly you can get in touch with Attune, what are our help center request forms, why you should use them, where you can find them. We'll do a bit of a demo for you, show you exactly what you can use them for, and then we'll open it up to Q&A as well. We'll try to answer some questions throughout too, but we will have a section at the end for Q&A. But awesome, we will get right into it. So the first thing that we want to talk to you all about is exactly how can you get in touch with Attune. So you can see here we have 2 different buckets for the types of help you might need throughout a policy's life cycle. For anything pre-bind, like eligibility questions, quoting, help with binding policies, or for any billing questions, our customer care team is available to help you in real time. So you can get a live chat with agents by clicking the support widget that's shown right here. This is available directly in our portal. You can also give us a call. So we have agents available for chat and for phones from 9 to 6 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. During our demo later on, we'll show you exactly where you can live chat in with our team, where you can find our phone number in the portal. And then you look at the second bucket. So for anything post-bind servicing, like endorsements, cancellations, even help with your agency management, so questions on commissions, or if you need to remove a user from our portal, you can use our help center request forms. And when you're filling these out, we'll be asking you for all of the information that we'll need up front, and we'll go into a lot more detail on what these forms look like and how they work throughout this webinar. Awesome. So next we'll talk about those request forms and so what they actually are. They are intelligent forms that are built into our broker portal. where you can submit any of your servicing requests. And so by submitting through these forms, we can ensure that we're asking you for all of the information that we need to process your requests upfront. So this means that we can process your requests quicker than ever with as little back and forth as possible. And so here we have a couple of screenshots just to give you a peek into what these forms look like. So you're first asked for exactly what you need help with through a drop-down menu, and then based on what you choose, the form will automatically populate additional questions for you to answer. We'll go to the next slide. Cool. Awesome. And so now we'll talk about why exactly you should use these request forms. Why are they important? So they aim to eliminate back and forth between Attune, you, and your insured. Compared to requests that are emailed to us, our Help Center request forms will make sure we get 100% of that information we need on the first contact that you make with us. And so by asking for that info during the first contact, we can minimize any back and forth emails that I'm sure a lot of you have had to deal with before. And with the forms, we can provide shorter processing times that give you time back and faster turnaround times that will help keep your clients happy. On this slide, we also have a snippet of our form showing all of the information we would need for a specific additional insured request. So what we're showing here is that after you select add an additional insured, you can then enter the additional insured's name and address, and then that's when you'll be prompted to select the type of AI from another drop-down list. And so in the screenshot here, we've selected loss payable, and our form has automatically populated an additional question asking if you're looking for paragraph A, B, or C, which is a specific question to that form. And if you aren't positive about maybe what type of AI you're trying to add or how to answer any of the more detailed questions that we ask, we include links to our Help Center articles where you can get any additional information you might need and also answers to frequently asked questions. And we'll go to the next slide, please. Cool. All right, and staying with additional insureds as an example here to show you the difference in time savings that these forms can truly make, we've pulled two examples of very similar requests just to compare an emailed request to a Help Center request form. And so on the left, we have an emailed request back from August to add an additional insured. And so we just have some dates lined up here. So we got the request on August 7th. On the next business day, which was August 9th, we were able to follow up, but we needed some more information. So for this one specifically, we didn't have the type of AI that needed to be added. And so once we received all of that information that we needed, it was again a few days later on August 12th. And so that is when we were actually able to complete the endorsement. So in total, this took about 5 days to resolve this request and completely add that additional insured. And so just a comparison, we have an example from a Help Center request form. So this was also a request to add an additional insured. We received it just before 11 a.m. Eastern time on October 28th, and we were able to send the completed endorsement just before 5 p.m. Eastern time on that same day. So because we were able to request all of that information that we needed on the first contact that you made with us, this endorsement only took about 6 hours to resolve in comparison to that 5 days from the email. So at this time, while we're not able to completely guarantee a 6-hour resolution time, we are hoping to get there soon, and having you all work to adopt these forms and submitting them for any of your requests is the first step in helping us get to that goal. Cool. We'll go to the next slide. Thank you. Awesome. And so now that you've seen the impact that the forms can actually make on saving you time, where are you able to find them? And so like I mentioned previously, they are located directly in our broker portal. So you can just click the support tab that has the little gear icon, and it'll bring you directly to the request forms, which you can see in this top picture here. We've also made it so the request forms are available without login credentials, which can be really helpful if someone at your agency doesn't have login credentials for our portal, but might still be responsible for servicing. We also have the forms linked in a lot of different places, like every account's billing page. It has it linked for anyone to access there. And we'll also go ahead and share this link with all of you as a follow-up to the webinar, along with the recording of the webinar. So you'll be able to bookmark it for super easy access. Great. And with these request forms, we no longer have a need to email help@Attune. So you can save time by skipping straight to the Help Center request forms to submit any of your servicing requests that you would normally send via email. If we do receive an email to help@Attune, our team will respond to redirect you to the forms just to show you exactly how to do it. And with those submissions, we're guaranteeing a much quicker SLA. So it would be 1 business day SLA for those servicing requests that come in via request form. Awesome. We'll go to the next slide, which should be a demo, and I will hand it over to.
Sorry, Claire, I just wanted to highlight, Eddie just had a comment in the chat saying in response to the, wait, go back. The slide saying these requests are not equal. First one was submitted on a Saturday, second was a weekday. Also, the first was missing info. The second does not include the missing info scenario.
Yeah, awesome catch, Eddie. So the first one was missing that info because it was submitted to us via email. So if they were to go through our forms, we would have been able to make sure that they gave us the type of additional insured that they were looking for. And we do 1 business day. So even if we got the request on Saturday, we first responded to it on Monday. So that next business day. And so if we were able to get that additional insured type, we most likely would have been able to endorse it within that 1 business day SLA.
And will you just clarify what SLA stands for or means?
Yeah, definitely. So SLA would be a service level agreement. So that just means that we are trying to get out our first response back to you within 1 business day.
Thanks so much, Claire. And great, I think we're down to a demo now, which I will assist with. So yeah, here we are at the Attune portal. This is if you have login credentials. So yeah, Claire, I don't know if you want to talk through it or have me talk through it.
Yeah, I can talk through it. That's fine. Cool, perfect. So this is the first page that you will see when you log into your portal. It just gives you a bunch of your recent activity, any recent quotes, fines, upcoming renewals. If you have anything pending cancellation or recently canceled, you'll see this all on your activity page. And so Morgan, I would like you to hit on the support icon on the left-hand side. So it is this little gear icon. So this is where you would go to submit any Help Center request forms. So we can see here, this first box, it asks you, what can we help you with? And so this is where you would decide exactly what it is you need help with, whether it would be to endorse a policy, maybe ask a commission question, and you can go directly through this. If you aren't able to find something in particular, we also have another option that you can use. So I think for this demo, let's go ahead and endorse a policy. Cool. And so just by clicking that, we got a few more options up that you can go through as you submit this request. All right, so for this one, I think we should, let's add an additional insured, Morgan. Cool, awesome. So the first thing, we just need an effective date. And this is actually really cool. So if you are to put in a date in the past, if it is a more coverage expanding additional insured, depending on the type that you want, we will ask for no known loss letter if you need to backdate it. Cool. And then it'll ask you for an account number. That is optional. The policy number is more important to us when we're endorsing a policy, but you can go ahead and put an account number in there if you have it. And then you'll select the line of business. And so for this, we're going to endorse a business owner's policy. And then we'll just input the policy number here. And our forms have a intelligence built into them where it can tell if a policy number looks correct. So if you don't have a correct policy number, maybe you're missing a number or a letter, then it'll tell you, uh-oh, the policy number looks incorrect. And we'll actually direct you to a help center article where you can see exactly what our policy numbers look like based on our different lines of business. Cool. Awesome. And so once you have that policy number correct, you can actually select what you would like to do. So for an additional insured, we're giving you the options to add a new one, update an existing additional insured, or remove one from a policy. So let's go ahead and add a new one. Awesome.
Oh, I think I just need I need a policy number. 1 second.
I just sent you a sample one via Zoom if you want that, Morgan. Thanks, Allison.
Cool. Okay, awesome. And so now to get into actual nitty-gritty of what we'll need to add additional insured. So we will need that additional insured's name. And you'll see we do have a max limit of 60 characters just based on our policy forms. So we would just go ahead and add that additional insured name there and their business address. And those are both two things that we need for every single type of additional insured. Cool. And now we have a list of every single additional insured that we offer here. So you would just go ahead and select the specific type that you're looking for. So if it's landlord, it would be BP 0402. And you can go through. We also have a guide linked here as well that will show you exactly the types of additional insureds we offer and examples of the forms, I believe, as well. Just a quick brief summary of what those look like. Cool. Cool, Morgan, let's show loss payable so we can see how it adds an additional question just based on the type. Cool, so for loss payable, because we require if you want paragraph A, B, or C, and then we also link exactly what those mean, that is a question that we will automatically populate into the form once you select that you want a loss payable additional insured. Awesome. And so lastly, we just have two optional fields if you wanted to provide any supplementary documentation. Since it's optional, there's nothing required. If something is required, we'll let you know in the form as well. And then any message that you might want to put in here if you need any additional context, anything like that. But since we don't need it because you gave us all the information built into the form already, you can skip that as well. And then the last required field is just going to be your email address. So this is going to be important because this is the email that we'll be following up with to confirm any additional premium if there is one, or any reduced premium if there is one, or if we have any questions as well, we will use that email as the point of contact, and we'll be sure to send the completed endorsement to that email as well. Cool. And that's how you fill out a form. You just click submit request. And then you'll be sent an automatic email letting you know that you submitted this form, and that will be getting back to you as soon as possible.
It looks like we have a couple of questions here in the chat. Looks like people are saying that they have called in and been told that the SLA is 48 hours.
So we have some different SLAs for different types of requests. At the moment, we're guaranteeing a 1 business day SLA for most forms, especially for endorsements and cancellations. For other things, it can take a bit longer. For example, loss runs, because we have a third party involved, they can take up to 7 business days at times. So that 1 business day SLA is not all encompassing quite yet, but we are working on making that the SLA for every type of request that we get.
And then we also we have 2 more questions. One from Nicole saying, there are times where I can add an AI or make an endorsement myself, and other times where you have to wait for y'all to process it. Can you tell me the difference? When can we do it versus when y'all have to do it?
Yeah, great question, Nicole. We are actually working on getting rid of that requirement of us having to double check. It most likely because we need a team or someone from our underwriting team to look at something, or if we run into any sort of blocker in our internal systems, that is when it's sent to our team. But it is something that we are currently working on and trying to limit as much as possible, so you all are able to do it, do as many as you can on your own without us having to intercede.
Yeah, and I would say at least in my experience, I used to be a BSA, so the people on the care team kind of answering your questions. Depending on how long you've been working with Attune, you might have chatted or had a phone call with me. But sometimes, if you're asking for something, that a request that's like a little more difficult, that might require, you're raising the BPP by over 50%, or you want to backdate something, that will usually sort of trigger our team needing to review it. But if you're doing something more simple, like adding an AI for tomorrow, and you have all the information, that's usually pretty easy. So it's not like a hard and fast rule, but I would say generally speaking, that's usually. And then, yeah, you're welcome, Nicole. Looks like Stacy said, what about adding locations? I had a request recently needing to add 3 additional locations. I submitted it all through the Help Center form. I didn't have all the information required, so I had to go back and ask the retailer for additional information. But when I got that information back, it generated even more questions regarding updates, so it didn't save me any time. It would have been easier to know what I needed up front. I went back and forth with my retailer more than twice. Just my observation, it didn't save me any time. It just took more time going back and forth.
That's awesome feedback, Stacy. Thank you for sharing. That is one of the forms that we're actively working on improving, as well as our training internally, so we can limit that back and forth that you have to go through. One thing that we are currently working on is getting multiple requests submitted in one form. So that is definitely something that we are currently working on, and we truly appreciate your feedback there.
Yeah, and I would just add too that, like, even if you had submitted this via email, like, all these forms are the questions that the care team would ask you too. So we're not putting additional questions into the form. So you would have had to answer them regardless of the way that you contacted us. So, but definitely still good to know that it would be better for us to provide those answers up front. So thank you so much for bringing that up. All right, so if no one else has any more questions, I'm just going to give 1 more minute in case people have any further questions about what we just did here.
I think one other thing before we go back to the deck, Morgan, we can show them exactly where they can find our phone number and how they can chat in with us. I think that would be great.
Great, yeah. So if you have any questions while you're filling out these forms, like, we totally understand that you might not know where to find this information, or you might not be quite sure. We have a pretty awesome customer care team that you can reach from 9 to 6 Eastern via our live support, which is just this button down here. It'll be here on literally every page of our portal and our website. So if your insured has a question and they're on our website, they can ask us. And then you can just type in your request. Sometimes they'll give you some suggestions. You just hit contact us, and then you'll just put your email address. This is just so that we know how to follow up with you and just have a little bit of information on what you're looking to do, and you hit send. And then it'll take you to our chat, and you'll be able to chat with someone from our team who can help you out. And then, as you can see here, there's this contact us section. This is our phone number right here. Again, you can give us a call from 9 to 6 Eastern, and our customer care team will answer you. Usually, I don't know exactly what the phone answering time is nowadays, Claire, but it's generally speaking within like 5 minutes at the most.
Normally within 5 minutes. I think the lunch rush is usually when you'll experience a longer wait time, but I believe it's almost always less than 10 minutes.
Great.
Cool.
Cool. So I will see if I can submit this so that you all can see what that looks like. Yeah, so you'll get that request, and as you can see here, it says 24 hours. I'm sure if it were a request that would take more than that, it would be updated to give you that correct SLA.
Awesome. Cool. Perfect. Great. Thank you, Morgan. So now we will talk about some of those improvements that we are making. So this is the last topic that we wanted to touch on before we jump into a Q&A section. If you think of any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. So one thing that we wanted to focus on is constantly improving these Help Center request forms to make your experience as seamless as possible. And so with your feedback, any feedback you provide, like Stacy just provided to us, any feedback that you have is greatly, greatly appreciated. And something that we are using to update these forms to make them the best that they can be. So just an example of one form we recently updated. This is our cancellation request form. And so whenever you need to request a cancellation, our form will automatically tell you exactly what it is that we need to cancel a policy based on the reason for cancellation and the cancellation effective date. So for example, if you type in a cancellation effective date that is in the past up to 30 days, we'll let you know in the form that we will require a loss policy release form. And so we actually have this available to download directly within the form, and you can just fill it out and sign it and upload it back into that box there. If you type in a cancellation effective date that's over 30 days in the past, we'll let you know in our form that we will need that LPR again, as well as proof of the reason for cancellation, just because of that backdated timeline. So for example, here, if your reason for cancellation was business sold, the form would let you know that we'll need the LPR as well as proof of sale. And for example, such as the bill of sale confirming the exact sale date. And so as we transition our broker base to using these forms for all requests that would normally be emailed, we are paying very close attention to that feedback that we get from you. So we can continue to improve them, make sure that we are saving you time with these forms, and making sure that your requests are being processed as quickly and efficiently as possible. So again, as much feedback as you have, please provide it. You can let us know if you have any now. You can let us know here. You can also send us a form. Any feedback that you have, you can just select other or chat in with our BSAs through our portal with that support tab. Cool. And I think next we'll just go into a little Q&A section. So any questions can be put into the Q&A or into the chat. Okay, so Nicole asked, are we working on generating COIs for policies? For certain products that we offer, we are working on this actually. For BOP, not at the moment, unfortunately, but again, good feedback that I think we can provide to our product team. Morgan, here's a good question for you. Are we having any meetings for quoting a new business? So any, I guess, like intro to Attune webinars coming up?
I do not, but I am the one in charge of creating all the webinars here. So I appreciate you asking. I'm happy to try to find someone on our team who can speak. Is this, I don't know if maybe you want to clarify in our chat box, is this specifically for just new businesses, or is this more of like an introduction to Attune? You just want an overview. We do have overviews of Attune, the intro to Attune webinars, usually like once a month, every couple months. We'll most likely have one coming up in May, but I'm happy to put together a webinar on quoting new businesses if that's something that you're interested in. So thank you for that. And okay, great to know about that you'd be interested as well. Yeah, if anyone has anything they want to learn about Attune, again, please chat in or submit a form. I'd love to hear your feedback. There will also be a brief survey at the end of this webinar. So if you have any comments or questions, or you have feedback, definitely make a note of that. I personally read through all of them.
Cool. And Maritza asked if the recording is available to go over any missed topics. Yep, so you will be emailed a recording of this webinar. I don't have a specific timeline, Morgan. I'm not sure if you do, within the next couple of days, I think.
Yeah, it'll be either sent out later today or tomorrow. And Sherry said, introduction and quoting, please. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome, Sherry. I will, as long as you're getting these emails, it seems like you did since you're at the webinar today, we'll be emailing you with any webinar information as soon as we have it. So usually we have one every month or every 2 months. So coming up, we definitely will have one. And now I'll start working on a new business webinar since it sounds like people really want that. So thank you.
Awesome. We also got a question about Hiscox. If we can send the request to Attune, or if it's best to just reach out to them. So that's actually a very on brand question to ask right now. So Morgan is actually currently working on putting together a help center article for you that will lead you directly to Hiscox for any servicing requests that they would handle directly, and we would normally advise you to go to them for. Any that I missed? Are we responsible for generating all COIs? For our business owners' policies, yes. Unfortunately, Attune does not generate any certificates of insurance. If you have questions about different policies, that is a really great question to chat in with any of our BSAs about through our portal. Jim said, also for Morgan, could you consider a webinar that will update any modified or updated underwriting / appetite stuff? That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, I will add that to my list. Thank you all for these incredible webinar suggestions. I love it.
All right, Jennifer asks, is Attune looking at other lines of business such as commercial auto? At the moment, I don't believe we're looking at commercial auto, but we are consistently looking at different lines of business. And as we launch any new products, you should be getting marketing emails about that. Also emails probably from any account manager that's assigned to you as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to shout out a product that is probably on many of your minds, but we did just add Neptune Commercial Flood to our product line back in December, if you weren't already aware. I know that there's some NFIP is going to have some rate raises soon. So if you're looking to check out some commercial flood coverage for your clients, Neptune Flood is really awesome. Like really, really lovely people. And their prices beat the NFIP 90% of the time. So it's really easy to just check out what that price would be, take a look, see what you think. That's our newest product, I believe, at the moment. So, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on your email. we'll be updating you as soon as we launch anything else. Yeah, Jim. So Neptune commercial flood does not require an elevation certificate. So you should be all good to go there in Arizona. Rebecca, no, at this time, Attune isn't looking to move into the commercial auto space, but like I said before, just keep an eye on your email. Any product updates that we make, you'll definitely hear from us. And since it seems like people are interested, I'm going to just throw our YouTube channel in the chat. We have a lot of our previous webinars, and we have just some general instructional videos that I've put together. So if you want to take a look at those, you're more than welcome to. You know, you can watch it on your own time. Yeah, I'll throw that in the chat right now.
Cool. I'm not seeing any other questions pop up. Anyone else have any questions that they want to throw out there? Please feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A section, and we will try to answer them the best that we can. Again, just a quick shout out to our live chat feature. It is really awesome, really quick, especially if you have any pre-bind questions, eligibility questions, any questions about products. Chatting in with one of our BSAs is the most likely quickest way you will get an answer about any of those types of questions.
All right, cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I definitely learned a lot today. So thank you, Claire. And thanks, Allison, for all the work that your team does to make all of our lives easier. Oh, it looks like we've got one more question here. Roger says, for reinstatement request, how long would it take?
Oh, good question, Roger. So for a first reply time, because this is a more complicated request that we do get, this is one where you're probably going to see more of a 48-hour SLA and get a response 48 hours after we receive the request, give or take, hopefully shorter. But that is a type of request that does take a bit longer just because of the compliance factors. And that you can also submit a form and it will pre-populate a known loss letter that you can fill out and submit directly through our portal for our team to review and take a look at. No problem.
Cool. All right, well, thank you all. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Again, the recording and the slides will be available via email. I'll be emailing them to you either later today or tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks everyone. Have a great day.